Only if you have
Of course, everyone watching knows exactly what we're talking about right now. That's the good thing.
Yes.
Okay, so Belshir Vestige, Stardust, and Barcode, please mute your stream at this time, as we do not want you to be influenced by what we say, because that would ruin the exercise. So we've got Belshir Vestige in the top left. Stardust, your orange Zerg player. Stardust, if you're watching this on VOD, welcome. I like your map that you make, Microturny guy. Let's see how good you are at 1v1.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who made microturnies. He's made the good one.
Yeah.
The one we always play.
Yeah,
well, I mean, there's other ones that are
yeah,
good too,
sure.
but this is, I think, the strongest one.
I agree.
He had a tournament last night.
Ah. Did he? How did that go?
I don't know.
Oh.
It started after...
Was there money or just for
No,
fun?
no.
Yeah, that's cool. We should spotlight that later. Bottom right, we got Barcode, Red Protoss. He's been around the summer community parties. I think he molds his day, so he's a part of it. And that's awesome. Or maybe he's like playing at work. That's fine too. That's really cool.
Well, this is late night for him.
Oh, is it? Oh, because he's European. Yes.
Yeah, he's from
well, perfect.
Sweden, I believe.
Barcode, welcome. We'll try to do what we can to help you out a little bit. So again, the idea behind this is kind of commentate from their point of view, identify what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong.
So who should we start with?
I think maybe the Protoss, because he's going to be making the most pointed decisions, I think, as far as whether to gateway expand, and whereas the Zerg player is going to be playing really reactionary at this point.
So he is gateway expanding.
So what does he need to be thinking right now as he's gateway expanding?
He needs, I mean, ideally he has his build order memorized.
Sure.
For the first about 4 minutes, three minutes. So he just shouldn't be thinking anything. And ideally, at his level of play, he's just microing probes perfectly.
Right. So he's not necessarily worrying about 6-pull stuff,
No,
7-pull, 8-pull stuff.
If you're confident enough with your build, which you should be at his level, you can hold all that stuff off. You worry about it when it kind of hits you.
Right. Perfect. Thank you, Stardust, for closing the stream. Appreciate that. It's very good. How come yours is all bright in the pause and mine is dark? Oh, too late. Never mind.
Because I'm a brighter person.
Should I change the UI on this thing? Let me do that really quick.
Oh, you're not on the summer UI. You won't be able to change. It won't take effect till the next
Oh, it
game.
won't? Okay.
No.
Well, we might stay on your screen.
Yeah, you can't change the UI during game. I'm on the summer invite UI,
So,
which maybe I should.
Any glaring...
It's still summer, right? You can still have the summer invite.
Yeah,
UI.
it's fine. It's not a big deal. Any glaring problems you're seeing with, honestly, either of these players right now? Anything they could be doing a little bit
Let me
better?
switch over. I mean, there's nothing. Barcode's doing it perfectly so
good.
far. On the other side of things, you have Stardust. Let's see what he's doing. I like the scouting pattern.
Okay.
This is pretty good, and this guy's gonna hit over there. The overlord placement is good so far. Pool. You know, his gas is. Okay, he went pool, hatch, then gas. I couldn't tell if he got the gas before or not. He spotted the Nexus or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't like getting gas if there's a Forge expansion, unless you want to do some cheesy build, which then is still fine. But overall, it's all still fine stuff.
Just particular stuff you have to be thinking about as you're doing these things.
What are you going to use the gas for?
Right.
2 Zerglings, 3rd hatchery, 1 thing at the Watchtower, the one going to check on the expansion. This Overlord, I'm curious to where he's going. Ideally, this Overlord should go to a place to spot probes running around to build proxy pylons.
Mm-hmm.
So a good location, for example, is, where's this spot? Right here. It's a pretty good spot. There's no location, corresponding to this area. You can put him up on the high ground there, or you can put him, somewhere around that area. It was nice to get this Zerglian scouting so we can see what's going on. He should be checking.
Yeah.
The pylon placement is really the only thing you're looking for there.
Okay.
And the only reason why you care about the pylon placement is to know where to send your scout overlord later on when you want to scout them.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Because of course that'll tell you where their Stargate, Robo, whatever is going to come down.
You may be looking for any crazy fast tech, though. Protoss isn't going to put down tech when your Ling is around, but some might do if they're going for really crazy, the fastest something possible.
Now this is really interesting. He's keeping 1 on gas. This is looking to do a fast layer tech. Is the only reason you would ever do this.
Okay.
Well, actually, there are some weird upgrade builds. But really, the only reason you keep 1 on gas after speed, with speed coming up this fast, is to do like a fast layer. And that way, there's some builds where, unless they do a hardcore 4-gate, you can actually just skip roaches and go straight to swarm host or mutas. We'll see if he does that. You keep 1. Oh, now 2 on gas. Wow, he's really investing a lot into gas, and that's going to hurt his queen and drone count. You can see there's late queens, so no creep spread, but you could have a very fast layer.
Now, do you think an overload on the right-hand side of the map? Because I feel like this is like the right-hand side of the map in the top right, in that fourth area. Yeah,
Yes.
there. That's a very common place for pylons to be.
Yep.
Do you think an Overlord in that direction would be a little bit better here
I
for
do.
Stardust?
I do like one here maybe.
Sure.
And then combined with holding your watchtower, you can kind of cover with the overlord on the high spot here.
Yeah.
I mean, the stalker can get up here and shoot it, but you can just walk away. It's
Sure.
not. You're not gonna, especially with speedlings, you're not gonna lose that.
Yeah.
One on the left side as well. The right side is more important, so I definitely think there should be more coverage.
Yeah,
in this
because his
back zone.
expansion is there.
Yep.
So you really need to be valuing. Ooh, and that's a okay. That's
This is a
good ball.
Stargate,
Yeah,
by the
yeah,
way.
okay.
So he spotted a Stargate. He did go for the fast layer. He started teching layer very, very fast. I think about 620, 630.
Yep.
So this could be a very, very fast muted build. It could be even a Hydra build. There's some Hydra builds like
Yeah.
this.
Is there a way he could optimize it even better than he's doing right now?
Yeah, being better with injects.
Sure.
His injects aren't perfect.
Yeah.
For example, this queen has 30 energy and it just had an inject a second ago. And also, like you said, he just got the right side.
Yeah. So this is a problem.
The third's dead. He has to
Third
be
is
back.
dead.
Yeah.
Again, something Overlords.
He didn't move into minerals. Oh no. That's where they got padded and he lost the
So
couple.
from the Protoss point of view, what should he be focusing on right now? Killing the hatchery, going after
Yep.
drones?
He-
Absolutely hatchery.
Yeah,
Take
you
it down.
you can't run down drones.
Yep.
Right, they're fast and stuff. So right now with the Protoss, he knows as soon as he walked in here, he knows he killed the hatchery.
Yep.
Right, we're gonna do this from Protoss point of view. The hatchery's dead. He should be thinking, okay, if the hatchery went down really easy, he must have gone fast layer. If he didn't, I've already won the game pretty much anyway.
Right.
Or I'm already way ahead. If he went fast layer, what do I have to watch for? I need to see what layer he's going for. So I'd like to see Hallucinated Phoenix or continuing to attack with this
Right.
army is scouting.
And he's not seeing roaches. So what is this kind of telling him?
It's either a Nidus Swarm Host, a Hydra, like a crazy Hydra bust, or Mutus.
So he knows the fast layer's happening
yeah,
right now.
he knows. Either that or he's way ahead because his opponent's bad. And you don't have to care if you're way ahead.
Sure.
You can do
And so
whatever
the
you want.
steps he should be taking are
Scouting, identifying what layer. He should also
Hallucinated
get.
Phoenixes.
I'd like to see a Robo thrown down as well.
Yep.
Because if this was a fast Swarm Host build, not having the Robo is a pretty big hit.
Yeah, and still seeing nothing but links here. No roaches popping out.
I don't really even like Void Rays too much here, to be honest. I've lost a couple games for the same reason. The build he planned was this.
Yeah.
He Zealot Pressure into Void Rays to defend a third base from roaches.
But this is a point where you adjust and you don't necessarily continue on with that original plan.
Yeah, I
When
mean,
you
Void
see
Rays
it's a
are
fast
always
one. Sure.
decent, but Void Rays are especially amazing in the early game against roaches. In the late game, they're amazing versus everything.
So how pressured should the Protoss feel about taking a third right now? Since all those links, you just denied his opponent's third. Is it more of a casual thing? It's like, all right, let's play safe.
I think he must have to take it fast because he's not getting a Robo. How's he going to beat
So otherwise, either A, get the Robo really fast, go straight into Colossi so you can get the damage done to the links, or take the Nexus really fast, get that SimCity set up as fast as possible.
Yeah, and the thing is, if he was going Swarm Host,
Oh.
you would have to kind of sack a base.
And probe, he can't go into the third.
Yeah, there's a speeding right
So now how
there.
much is this hurting him? Not having a third and not having a Robo?
I mean, he'll take it soon.
Okay. So
Uh,
not the biggest of deals.
Yeah, if his opponent was doing a Nidus Swarm Host, he'd
Right.
be in big trouble.
So on the Zerg side of things, trying to deny that third base, very good. He just lost his third though, and he's
Yes.
going into Mutas. Should he be abandoning his original plan now, or what's his goal here? What should he try? What should he be
Zerg's
doing?
build's gone perfectly, actually.
Okay.
Losing a third is expected if you're doing a fast layer tech,
Yep.
and they do Zealot Pressure. Now, you can avoid it, and he should have, but it's so he's technically, it's not like expected. Ideally, you don't, but it's part of the build. You can afford to do that, but you need to be getting map control to Mutas. So right here, he's worried about the attack.
Yeah.
That's a mistake. As soon as the Mutas spawned, he should have been on the counterattack. And then he just base races.
Going after the economy, going
Yeah.
in between bases, force your opponent to pull back home. But trying to defend here is a mistake. However, at this point, since his Protoss opponent is already all across the map, what are his options?
He has to counterattack.
Okay. So he can't engage. He doesn't want to engage this Protoss army right now.
There's too many sentries. Sentries actually are pretty good against Mutas until they scale really high.
Is that an okay move there, Protoss?
I didn't like
recalling?
the recall.
Okay. You'd rather him stay there, keep attacking to the natural?
Yeah, I mean, it was still a success, but as soon as you recall, now the Zerg can cross the
Right.
map without having you kill them.
But the Protoss knows about the Mutas now. How does he react to that? Is Phoenix the right way to go? Do you get on Blink really fast? Cannons at your mineral lines? What's the plan here for the Protoss?
I like the Phoenixes is amazing. Second Stargate's good. I don't like the Templar Archives. I think that's
he
spreading
might
gas
lose
too
this
thin.
third here.
With force fields, he should defend it if he has good force fields.
Okay.
Yep. I think. Oh, he should put one right here, maybe. Oh, now the Zerglings are coming back.
So at what
Oh,
point do you
sorry.
pull out as a Zerg there and not keep committing? It's unclear.
I mean, these Zerglings are gonna die anyway, so
Sure.
I guess he
Leave
could have
them.
pulled them back into the left.
Okay. So now this is pretty vulnerable.
Yeah,
How does Protoss make sure this stays alive?
So ideally, you put like a gateway here, maybe 1 cannon, 2 cannons, another gateway. You want to make a wall around a Nexus. If mutas dive in on it, it's going to die, but at least they'll lose a bunch of mutas, and then it hurts them. If Zerglings dive it, you better make sure it's invulnerable to Zerglings.
So most important things to do right now, defending against these mutas.
Yes, and that's why I said ideally as soon as you saw mutas, even if you're going Phoenix, 1 cannon in each worker line is ideal.
Immediately.
Yes.
Okay.
And you did that in the main. I guess this worker line wasn't too important. It's less important, but...
Sure.
So I actually like everything he's doing, except I didn't like the Templar Archives.
Okay. And now, so the Zerg, he's trying to do damage to this economy. He didn't get the third. What are the Zerg's options now?
So Zerg does have his own third, right? Because he double expanded, which is very smart. Anytime you do mutas, you want to use all your extra minerals on expanding. So right now, the Zerg, he has 2 options, right? One is to try to overpower the Protoss in air, but Protoss already was going air from the start with some Void Rays. And
so
now
adding in Corruptors won't necessarily help things.
Yeah.
But he's going for a +2 weapons. Is he too spread out here, or should he be only spending his resources on going to Hydras and getting maybe missile attack upgrades or something?
He's in a bad spot.
Yeah.
Well, he can't continue to go air. That's obvious.
He can't.
He cannot go air.
Okay.
He cannot beat his opponent in a fight. He's too far behind, so he has to go for a base race strategy.
Isn't that involved going air then? I mean...
No, you can base race with like tunneling claw roaches. Could be interesting. In fact, that might be the most interesting option.
Tunneling claws... at what point do you make that decision to go for the tunneling claws? So right when you see all the phoenixes?
Yeah, right when he was here.
You just stop investing into air right when you see all the phoenixes and go straight for like a mass roach, maybe +1
although
missile.
you would want to continue your air weapons.
Okay.
Probably just for a potential switch later, because there's no way you're going to win the game as Zerg. From this point, he cannot win in the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
Barring his opponent falling out of his chair.
Which I do a lot, so if he was playing me, it'd be possible.
But not against Barcode.
Okay, not against Barcode.
If he wins the game, it's going to be from buying time by threatening counterattacks, and then building up a huge economy, and then catching up an army.
Okay.
And so if you can't win the game in the next 10 minutes, you're fine investing in a couple extra upgrades for the late game transition.
Okay.
But trying to go Roach Hydra, Hydras don't have the mobility roaches. It can't be sneaky like Tunneling Claws, and they're expensive and frail. So they're not nearly as good for threatening counterattacks and base raiding.
Okay. So now that Stardust has made this decision to go for the air, what are his goals, and what does he need to be trying to accomplish here with this air army?
He needs more mutas. The thing is, as soon as he made this many Corruptors, that can keep the Phoenixes back, and it's actually enough to beat a couple of Void Rays as well. But the problem he has is that with only 8 mutas, he doesn't have enough to, let's say the Phoenixes are out, 3 cannons and like 2 Stalker Warpins.
It's going to be fine to deal with those
exactly.
mutas.
So
even with +2, I mean, he has +2 on the mutas. So he's making more mutas here, 7 mutas in production.
I like that. But
making a switch in Infestation Pit. Like it or dislike?
I do actually. I'm liking this idea now. So he's going to go buy time with air, then he's going to go to Swarm Host.
Okay.
But I don't even know if he should be making the roaches. I feel like the Infestation Pit faster and the Roach War and Hydra Den slower would have made a lot more sense of the way he's playing.
So it's all about picking which way you want to go and being as efficient with your resources as possible.
He's trying to do everything at once.
Okay.
Well, let's switch it back to the Protoss point of view. Oops, wrong. Here's the Protoss point of view. So Protoss was very far ahead, but I feel he's been too passive.
Yeah, maybe going across, taking advantage of recall, Militia Core recall. No reason not to push out, try to deny a base, recall back. Belshir Vestige, I think, is a good map for that. Because, like, your opponent, like, literally his opponent's forest is the left-hand side of the map. Not too far away there.
I mean, he doesn't even know about that. So
yeah, but, I mean, knowing about that is step one, obviously.
I feel he can assume it, and in fact, he's...
Sure, certainly.
Yeah, a player like him probably assumes there's base on the left side.
So, no reason not to kind of poke out there. I mean, the only worry you have is the mutas counterattacking, I think, at this point.
So what you do is you send all your ground forces, Void Rays, and Mothership Core out, and your Phoenixes kind of stay between that and the base raid and mutas are. And as you move out, you put a Hallucinating Phoenix on the left side and right side, so you can tell if the mutas go for base race. If they do, you don't even have to recall. You can just send the Phoenixes home, and along with cannons, they should be okay. You can actually, with cannons and a Stalker Warpin, you can defend Muta Corruptor with just the Phoenixes.
Right.
And then if you really have to, you can recall after you kill a base. And so that kind of goes back to where I said I didn't like him getting in Templar Archives. He was ahead enough that if you just cranked out units like a maniac, maybe he could have just overwhelmed in one. Yeah, or maybe not killed his opponent's natural, but like kept him to 2 bases for the rest of the game, then he wins, right?
Right.
But what he's doing is kind of like, I just want to get to late game.
Hallucinating anything and everything. That's pretty funny. I think he hallucinated a War Prism in there too.
No reason not to.
Yeah, Colossi and Archons. Storms on these mutas would be good. So what should his goal be? Go after the production? Go after these additional bases?
Yeah.
Is he doing the right things right now?
He has to go after the production.
Okay.
taking off the Zerg expanded so much that if he wants to go after base, he sends DTs or Fuse Elts there.
Yeah.
Like right now, exactly what he's doing. He's keeping the Zerg army tied up while he's harassing all these bases.
Right.
That's exactly what he wants to do. Because the problem is if you send your whole army to a side base, the Zerg just pulls the drones and you kill the hatchery, but they've got like 18 of them, right?
Right.
And then their army could be attacking your main. But if you attack their natural, the army has to be there to defend, and you can pick off all these side bases with Zelts. You know, taking a fourth. I really would have loved to see, if he's going to play passive like this, build a duo army, and then try to hammer the Zerg. Ooh.
That was a 6 storm.
DTs would have been amazing over the last 6 minutes for the Protoss.
As it stands, though, he's like controlling this really well.
I mean, the games should be over here.
Yeah.
So from Zerg point of view, Zerg really needs to be denying his 4th base and ideally attacking a 3rd as well.
Yeah. Just not engaging that army.
Oh, DTs are going to... Yeah, I mean, he can't.
Yeah.
And the thing is defending his natural sounds like, okay, I need to do that, but it's kind of a lost cause. Like, maybe he can defend it, but we're going to lose every other base.
Yeah.
Protoss will get more and more and more ahead.
Yeah. So the Protoss is playing this quite well, I think.
I would have actually much rather seen the Zerg try to save these side bases with speedlings, abandon a natural, and counterattack. Like, this is great, but the mutas... Oh. So Protoss, I mean, because I said that was the Zerg's way to win was to counterattack, right? But I don't know if counterattack's that viable for Stemini. You know, if he had the speedlings and the mutas, he could break this down, but...
Your reaction was so funny. You you should be counting the space at the bottom left. I mean, we can see that it's completely It's 20.
Well, you know what? Mutas and Zerglings maybe could have killed, but still, I mean, Protoss is doing the right
steps. Because that
steps.
Nexus was pretty low earlier.
And I like the addition of DTs now. Would have been nice to have them earlier.
Yep. So this should be pretty over.
Yep.
All right, so top 3 criticisms for each player that they can try to work on moving forward.
Okay, so the Zerg needs to be much more decisive with his techs and what he does with his army. The whole game is kind of wishy-washy. Should I defend? Should I attack? Should I attack the Roaches, Mutas, Swarm Host? He never even went Swarm Host. He ended up going Roach Hydra, which is... Why would you ever go Roach Hydra to, this late in the game when he has already a bunch of Void Rays, right? So it needs to be much more decisive in techs. Also, his macro could have been slightly better. And then top 2, though, decisive in tech is number 1. Number 2 is decisive in what to do with your army. Yeah. Attack or defend. And then number 3 is a little bit better macro.
Okay.
Well, obviously it could always get better, but that'd be the 3rd improvement.
And Protoss?
Protoss, number 1, I think he needs to be, when he identifies a fast layer, which he did from the build when he killed the 3rd and there was nothing there, right? You have to assume a fast layer. You need to be much more, you need to tech much more fast to Robo. If it wasn't Knight of Swarm Host, he probably would have lost the game. Okay. It's actually... I don't know what he would have done against it, besides hope he catches Nidus before it gets up. But Nidus could have been it could even been the first one could have been out here, and he spreads creep and later puts one up here or something. Right. Because Queens and Swarm Host, of course. Queens keep back there, and then he builds Spore Crawlers. Sure. So that's the first thing. Is cover all the possibilities of a fast layer. Right. He identifies it. Number 2 is if he's ahead in army strength. If that's his advantage, which it was. Protoss. Yeah, Protoss. When he saw
there's that dead time of where he's not really doing much.
Yes, and he had the army strength. He should not let his opponent get all the bases up. Yeah. And the reason he had
that's kind of a way the Zerg can come back into a game that the Protoss kind of already won in a sense. Exactly. Not really won.
He was significantly ahead.
Sure, taking out that 3rd base. How do you take advantage of that advantage?
And then when he took it out the 2nd time, that was good. Yeah. But right when he took it out the 2nd time, he had a much bigger army. He recalled back and played passive. And that was a point where he took out a Zerg base, it didn't even matter. Yeah. The Zerg double expanded.
He had the expansion left.
And he didn't have enough drones to use both of them anyway. Yes, it hurt his gas a bit, but Protoss could have easily taken all the bases.
Yeah, it was a great pickoff, but you have the ability to do more, especially with recall available. Like, the kind of the thing is, you can get out of there at any time. Obviously, be careful with the Mothership Core. Don't misclick like I do. But trying to stick around a little bit longer and see what kind of more damage you can do.
And even to a greater degree, he would never have had to recall.
Sure.
As soon as he
had a big enough army.
Yeah, his army was twice the army value.
Stick to near where the larva's coming out. Maybe isolate that 3rd base left-hand side, and you can win the game much easier there.
I mean, maybe he can't kill the natural because of the spines, but he can definitely kill everything else. Yeah. And I think what hurt him a bit is he was checking so hard after that, which I think is his style. I know him as a player, and that's his style. He likes to go to that super late tech. Right. And that is a great style most of the time, but he had an opportunity to take an easier win. He could have easily just continually denied expansions. Instead of going for Templar Archives, just add additional gateways, go for maybe Dark Templar, and crank out Phoenixes, and just defend with Phoenixes and continually deny third base with the Gateway army. So that's number 2.
I guess immediately placing out cannons once the mutas are there.
Yeah.
That's a very small thing.
I think it was pretty fast in the main.
Yeah.
And the third.
Yeah.
His third was a little vulnerable for a while. So eventually built all the cannons there. The Zerg could definitely, when it sent the speedings in, he could have been faster with force fields to save the Nexus some life.
Sure.
Because having twice as much life is a big deal. And when you have 10 sentries versus a guy going mutas, it's like the sentry energy isn't worth as much as Nexus life. So he could have handled that better. And then when the Zergies ran away, eventually built a bunch of cannons, but there was opportunities where the Zerg went to roaches. He could have picked up the Nexus. Whereas maybe a gateway wall on the left side, and then some better defense for that third, a little bit faster.
All right. Awesome. Stardust and Barcode, thanks for watching. Thanks for playing. Hopefully that was helpful to you, and hopefully you can get a little bit better at StarCraft 2. Both played well, I think.
Yes.
You had a lot of good things.
I mean, they're both. One of them's low GM, the other one's high master.
It's like they're watching this like, gosh, why are we so bad? No, it's not about that. It's we're trying to help you be even better. That's the whole idea behind it. So that's going to conclude match number 1 of the day, and we want 2 more people to do it with. So
lower level this time.
Okay, we can do lower level. That's fine. So if you're lower leveled and you want to be coached by me and Nick, of course, the idea being you watch the VOD afterward and see where you can improve, head on over to channel MLG on the North American server. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.